Hello everyone, so welcome to the course that is SSIS, SQL Server Integration Service. So in this video, we'll have an introduction like what is SSIS, okay? So SSIS is a component of Microsoft SQL Server database software that can be used to execute a wide range of data migration tasks. So SSIS is a fast and flexible data warehousing tool, okay, used for the data extraction, loading and transformations like cleaning, aggregating, merging, and many more operations can be performed with help of SSIS. So it makes it easy to move data from one database to another database. So SSIS can extract the data from wide variety of sources like SQL Server databases, Excel files, Oracle, then DB2 databases, and many more things. So SSIS also includes graphical tools and wizards for performing the workload functions like sending email messages, FTP operations, data sources, and destinations. So why we use basically this SSIS? Okay, so here you can see in the documentation. So SSIS is a platform for building the enterprise level data integration and data transformation solutions. So use integration services to solve the complex business problems by copying and downloading the files. So basically it performs the ETL, okay? So extracts, transform, and the load. So we'll have a source, we have a destination, and between them we can just perform all the transformations. By copying or downloading files, loading data warehouses, cleaning and mining the data, and managing the SQL objects, server objects, and data. Okay, so if we talk about why we use this, okay, of course, like SSIS tools help us to merge data from various data sources. It automates the administrative functions and data loading. It populates the data marts and data warehouses. Even it helps to clean and standardize the data, and with help of SIS we can automate the administrative functions and data loading. We can build BI, okay, that is business intelligence, into the transformation process. Okay, there are many more advantages, okay, why we use SIS. Okay, even the SSIS eliminates the need of hardcore programmers. Okay, so by it helps in coordinating the data maintenance, processing, and analysis. Okay, so this is what we have so many advantages of SSIS. Okay, so when we talk about its environment, okay, so it has a drag and drop interface, okay, where we can just perform all the transformations very easily. Okay, so this is how it basically works. So in the next step, okay, so we'll try to install this, and let's get started with working with SSIS. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's install the SQL Server. Okay, first we need to install the SQL Server. Okay, so then we need to connect to the SQL Server using a SQL Square SQL Server Management Studio, right? So then we access the database engine. So we have three steps. Okay, first we need to install the SQL Server. Then we need to connect to the SQL Server using the Management Studio. Then we can access the database engine. Okay, so let's get started. So first search for download SQL Server. So if I just go to the SQL Server downloads, okay, so here we have a two option, that is developer and express. Okay, so let's go and download this developer edition. Okay, so once you have just gone through this step, okay, so once I try to refresh, okay, so I mean, like, once I run this file, it will ask me for the restart. Okay, so what I'll do, once I'm really restarting, I'll just pause the I'll just come back in the next section. Okay, so let's see, like, if I just go and open. Okay, so do you want to, okay, so okay, so let's go for the. So if you just land on this particular page, that is, we have a three developer edition. Okay, so one is basic, one is custom, and one is download media. Okay, so you can just go for like, depending upon your requirement. Okay, so if you're going for the basic, okay, so we need to select the basic installation. You can see, so select the basic installation type to install the SQL Server database engine feature with the default configurations. Okay, so this is where we can opt for the basic. So if you are going for the custom, okay, so select the custom installation type to step through the SQL Server installation wizard, and choose what you want to install. Okay, so this is what the custom is. And finally we have a download media. Okay, so under the download media, so again we can just download the set of files and now install the later machine. Okay, so what we'll do first, we'll go for the basic. Okay, so under the basic, okay, so I'll just accept the terms and condition. Okay, so let's go and install. Okay, so it's downloading. Okay, so once you have into this particular option, that is like installation have completed successfully. So here don't just do and close it. Okay, just go to the customize. Okay, okay, so here let's keep it next. So under the product updates, okay, so next go for the next. So here also just go to the next. In the installation type, perform or add features to existing, no. Okay, so if you are performing, if you have any if you have existing instance of SQL Server, then you can just add to this. Or if you are installing for the first time, you can just keep this option checked. Okay, so product key, so here we are chosen for developer, right? So if you have any other, you can just choose this. So next, license, let's accept. So under the feature selection, let's in instant features, just select this database service engine. Next, click on next. So here the named instance I'll give uh, neuron. So as soon as I click on instance, it will take the automatically. Okay, so I've given the I neuron. Next, click on next. So here also let's keep it default. Next. Okay, so here authentication mode, let's keep it mixed mode. So I need to enter the password. So let's confirm it. Okay, so let's add this particular so once you add it, they click on next, then install. Okay, so here you can see, so I'll click on close. So once I've done with the customization, just click on install SSMS, that is SQL Server Management Studio. So let's download this. So you can see it's downloading. Okay, so let's open. So install. So when that installation done, you can just close this. Okay, so or else you can just close. That's not an issue. Okay, so let's close this. So even you can just close this. The installation is done. Uh, yeah. Okay, so our installation is done. Okay, so this is how. So if I just search for um, my SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so you can see I need on server. Okay, so here under the server name, uh, so let's go for Windows authentication. Oh, okay, sorry here. So this is what the server, right? So while installing, I've just chosen ID on. I'll just select that. Okay. So Windows authentication. Let's go and click on connect. Yeah. So I've just connected. Okay. So once I've connected, you can access all the different options here like databases, security, replication. Okay, so we'll get into this. Then how to add the new query, and we'll get into this in the next video. So in this video, let's download the Visual Studio. Okay, so I'll be using 2019 version, but anyways, we have a latest version that is, you can see like we have a Visual Studio. Okay, 2022. So if you want to work with, you can just directly get in this Visual Studio 2022 and download it. Okay, so as I told you, so I'll be working with Visual Studio 2019, which I've already installed. Okay, to get 2019, what you can do is you can just scroll down and go to the older downloads. Okay, so if you click on the older downloads, this is where you can just find all these older versions. Okay, you can just download the 2019 version, so Visual Studio 2019. Okay, so once you have just downloaded, okay, so same steps, you have to click next. Okay, next to install it. Okay, once it's installed, you can just search here like Visual Studio. Okay, 2019. Okay, if you want to work with 2022 is also, it's fine, but in this course I'll be following with 2019. So if you once you have opened, okay, so this is what the you'll be seen. Okay, so if I just click on to this continue, okay, so continue without code. Okay, so this is what the interface is. Okay, so here, so one thing you need to do it. Okay, you need to go to the extension, uh, tools, manage extension. Okay, yeah, so you need to get into the extensions and search for integration service. Okay, integration service. This one. Okay, why? Because, for example, if I just try to close this, uh, if I open my Visual Studio, so while creating the project, okay, so for example, if I create a new project, so here I need to choose the template. Okay, so like so what are the different templates I have, like whether it's SQL Server project or any other project, right? So for that reason, so if you want to select the integration service, okay, so you can see like I have integration service project. If you want to if you want to look for the integration service, okay, to get here, okay, what you need to do is, so first, continue without code. So after going here, just go to the extensions, manage extension, and search for integration service. Okay, so if you just type integration service, so this you need to install it. Okay, you can see like it's already installed. Okay, this extension is already installed from in my system. So what you can just try to download and rerun whatever you're downloading, just click on next. Okay, so it will be installed, and close everything and restart it. Okay, so once you have done with this extension, so SQL Server integration service project has been added to you. Okay, so from this, through this, we can just perform all the activities. You can see, so this project may lead to for building high performance data integration and workflow solutions, including extraction transformations. Okay, all the things we can just perform with this particular tool. Okay, so just try to install it. Okay, so once you have installed, so we are good to go. Okay, so in the next video, we'll start with creating a simple extract and the load task. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first I'll just open my SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so where we can just load data. So you can just search for Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. I'll open the SQL Server Management Studio first. And so here we'll get the server type. Okay, so this is my server name. Okay, and the authentication will go with Windows authentication and click on connect. Okay, so here this is the interface. I have all the databases. Okay, so can just access all the databases from here. Okay, so and even I have shared resources with you. Okay, where you have this setting up. Okay, so let's try to open that. So what I'll do before opening that particular file, I'll just go to the new query and let's create a new database or SSIS. Okay, and even use this SSIS. So you can see if I just try to refresh, if I go into databases, I have this SSIS. So I'm using this particular database. So let's try to execute it. You can see like right now command got successfully. Right now I'm under this particular database. So now if I just go to file, file, open. So if I just get into my folder, setting up. Okay, so this is my data. So first I'll just try to I'll be using I'll type use SSIS. Okay, and let's try to execute this. So execute. Okay, so you can see like rows got affected. If I just try to refresh, and under the databases I've created the SSIS. Inside the SSIS, this is what the tables I have. So if I try to expand, you can see this all the tables I have. We have address. Okay, so here nothing but it's very simple SQL queries. Okay, so we have created the different tables. One is address table, customer table, address, customer address, and this is what the three main tables, and this is for this which already created, so that we can just get the data from the integration service. Okay, so this is the main three tables, that is address. You can see like here I've created a table and I've just added the some of the values here. Next is customers table. Okay, and next we have customer address. Okay, so are the three tables. Okay, so you can just see it's very lengthy uh, SQL queries. Okay, you can just access from the resources. So once our database is ready and our table is ready with the content in it. Okay, so now let's try to open our Visual Studio. Okay, so if I just go and search for Visual Studio 2019 is already present here. Okay, you can just search in the search bar and try to open this Visual Studio 2019. Okay, so once you have tried to open this, okay, so you need to go and click on to create new project. But before that, you have to add that in extension, which I've already showed you in the previous video. That is very much important. If you're not able to find that integration service, it means that you have not installed that. Okay, so I'm just going to the create new project. I'll just search here integration, integration service. You can see, so it's an integration service project. So if you're not able to find this, it means you've not installed it. Okay, so for that was the previous video. I've just showed you how to install this. Okay, integration service project, I'll click on next. So here I'll just give integration service project SSIS course. Okay, and this is what the location of all my files. It's under the users, Imran, sources, and repos. And this is solution name, this integration service SSIS course. I click on create. As soon as you click on create, okay, so it will open the new page. Okay, so where I'll be working. Okay, so this is all the different tabs, and this is what the page you'll able to see, and you can access. You can see here in the under the solution explorer, we have the integration service SSIS course. Okay, this is what my project name is. So let's try to explore about this how this UI works in the next video. Okay, hello everyone. So welcome back. So in this video, we'll explore its UI. Okay, so as I told you, so SSIS is basically a popular and the mature tool for performing the data movement and the cleanup operations. Okay, so in the Microsoft ecosystem, so SSIS is one of the most common ETL tool, that is extract, load, and transform. Okay, and even SSIS is powerful and even we can just configure based on our requirements. Okay, so before getting started, okay, so let's discuss some of the SSIS terminology, so that will be helpful. So I'll just open my text editor. Okay, so first main thing you need to remember is about the package. Okay, so if I say package, so a package means, so when I say SSIS package, okay, so SSIS package is basically a central component of SQL Server integration service code. Okay, and it's the canvas on which you spend most of your development time. Okay, this is what the package is. Okay, and SSIS package is a collection of one or more operations that are invoked together. So this is what when I say package. Okay, so basically it's a central component of SQL Server integration service, where we spend a lot of time here by configuring our project. So next we say something called task. Okay, so what is task? So basically task is a single operation within a package. Okay, so there are dozens of different types of tasks available in SQL Server integration service. Okay, so so this is what the task is. So next we'll say something called component. Okay, so component, NENT. Okay, so component is a part of data pipeline. Okay, which represents either a source from which the data is retrieved, or a destination to which the data is written, or a transformation that manipulates or reshapes the data. Okay, so this is basically a part of data pipeline. So next, we say something called execution. Okay, so what is meaning of execution? So this is basically an act of invoking or running the logic in SSIS package. Okay, so packages can be executed from within the SQL Server data tools, right? So data tools where the development in the development environment or directly on properly configured instance of SQL Server. Okay, so this is basically execution. So in the name itself, you can just guess it, right? So next we have something called deployment. So these are some of the major terminologies. Okay, so if you just remember, it will be very helpful. So when I say deployment, okay, so deployment occurs, okay, so when fully developed SQL Server integration service project is pushed from the development workstation to the instance of Microsoft SQL Server, so where it can be executed either manually or through a scheduling tools such as like SQL Server agent. So even the development is usually more complex than copying the code from one machine to another. Okay, so although SQL Server does a good job of hiding that complexity for most of the deployments. Okay, so this is one of the terminologies. So next is project itself. Okay, so what is project? So basically the source code, okay, in SQL Server integration service, where it is arranged into a functional units called projects. Okay, and project contain one package or many packages. Okay, so this is what the project is, right? So in most cases, when deploying the SQL Server integration service code, the entire project is deployed into the server. This is what it means. So when I say solution, okay, so next we have something called solution. Okay, so solution is basically logical grouping of related projects. Okay, so this is what the meaning of solution is. And finally we have runtime engine. Okay, so SSIS runtime engine. So this is the logic that allows a package to run. Okay, so when you are working with SSIS packages in SSDT, okay, the packages will be executed using the SQL Server Integration Service runtime on your development machine. Okay, so after the code is deployed to the Microsoft SQL Server, so any execution that run on server will be the server's SSIS runtime. Okay, so is what the meaning of runtime is. Okay, so this is some of the SSIS terminologies. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you. So this is about the terminologies. Okay, so now if I just try to explore about the SSIS, okay, this is the UI. Okay, this is what the development environment is. Okay, so first let's try to explore. Okay, so what are the different tabs we have? So first we have a solution explorer. Okay, so this is what is solution explorer. So solution explorer, basically this window allows easy browsing of current solution and all the files contained with it. Okay, so you can add, delete, or rename the files in the current solution. This is what it means. Okay, this is a solution explorer. You can see all the related components inside it. So next we have something called properties panel. Okay, so this properties window, so this context aware window, this is basically context aware window which shows the properties of currently selected item. Okay, so depending upon whatever the component I'm selecting, you can see with respect to that you can just access all the properties here. Okay, so if I look at the project parameters, you can see this is what the can see some of the related files. Okay, so or properties with respect to this components. Okay, so this is these items. Okay, so this is what the solution explorer and about the properties. So next we have something called SSIS toolbox. Okay, so this is also very much important. So like the name implies, okay, so this is your toolbox of your of available operations in SQL Server integration service. Okay, so this list is also the context aware and shows the tools for either the control flow of the control flow or data flow based on where you are currently working. Okay, so here you can see, say we have a server explorer, we have a toolbox. Okay, so this is what the different tools we have. You can see okay, so I'll just show you. So even we need to add one more tools. Okay, so I'll just show you how to add it. Okay, so just remember, so this is one of the main important component while working with the project. Okay, so next we have something called SSIS package. Okay, so you can see we have here new package. So this package you are currently working on. Okay, so although a single package is this is what I'm just working, right, the single project. So this allows you to have can add more packages. Okay, so for this particular package we have a control flow, we have a data flow. We can deal with the parameter, okay, where we can add, remove the parameters. We can handle the events, right? So this is what. So next we have something called connection managers. So connection managers are very much important. Okay, so this is the area where any currently available connections will be present here. For example, if you have tried to connect it with the source or destinations, all those connections can be managed here. If you want to add new connection, you can just try to click add the new connection. Okay, so you can see like new connection can be added. Okay, so just this is a connection manager tab. Okay, so where you can just access all the things. Okay, so this is very important factor. Okay, so and most of the time we'll be working on this as I told you. So everything is drag and drop. Okay, so I can just drag the task. Okay, so I can just try to delete it. Okay, so okay, so these all things is can be done. Okay, and other part is like even you can just rename this window. For example, if I want to rename sorry replace this window, so whether I'm replacing the center or if you want to replace here or at the bottom. Okay, so you can see like how the UI is looking, right? So I'll just replace here. So any tab. Okay, if I want to change the solution explorer, if I want to keep it here. Okay, so you can just try to add it here. Okay, so you can see this is how it basically works. Okay, so if you want to get back and keep it placed here, you can just do it. You want this SS toolbox. Okay, so if you want to place it here, okay, so you can just do it, or else you can just change it wherever you want. Okay, so this is what simple interface. And apart from this we have file. Okay, so edit, view. Okay, so project, though, so as we're working with the projects, okay, so you'll get to know all these particular tabs. Okay, but main thing is just you need to remember about the SSIS toolbox, from where we can just drag all the tools which is necessary for our project. And this is and under this we have a control flow and data flow where we'll be working with. Okay, and the to access the all the files related to this particular project can be from the solution explorer. And with respect to this item, we have a property section, and more important, we have a connection managers where we deal with the source and the destination. So this is all about the interface. Hello everyone, so welcome back. Okay, so here let's try to explore about the control flow and the data flow. So here we have major two tabs. We have something called control flow. As soon as I go to data flow, okay, here in the SIS toolbox, there are some of the components which changes, right? So here we have control flow and here we have a data flow. So what is data flow? Okay, so data flow are just moving data from one source to another. Okay, like moving the data from source to destination, you can say. So when I talk about control flow, so control flow provide the logic, okay, for when the data flow components are run and how they run. Okay, so for example, in the control flow, I can drag this data flow task. Okay, okay, so this is how. Okay, so this is basically provides a logic. Okay, and also control flow can perform the looping. Okay, so it can call the stored procedures, move files. Okay, manage the error handling, then checking a condition and call the different task. Okay, depending on the results. Okay, and even process a cube, trigger, and another process. Okay, so just remember, so if you are moving the data from one location to another and it is the same each time and is not based on any other condition, then you can get away with the package with just a data flow task. Okay, so but in most cases the packages are more complex than that, right? So this is what the major main difference between the control task and the data flask. So you can see, so use this view to build and modify the control flow in a package, and view this to view and to build and modify data flow for selected data flow task. So you can see like right now I'm under this data flow task. Okay, so there are the different ways how you can just get in data flow. So if I just go to the data flow, okay, so here I need to select the for which data flow I'm just working with. Okay, so for example, if I just try to add the and one more, for example, if I adding any component, I can just double click. Okay, I can just double click onto this. Yeah, I can double click and rename this. Okay, you can see I can say data flow. Okay, so if I just try to add one more data flow. Okay, so if I just get into this data flow tab, you can see the two data flow, right? One is data flow and one more data flow task. Okay, so other ways, okay, if I just get back, if I want to get into this particular data flow, I just double click on it. Okay, so it will be redirected to this particular interface. Okay, so where you can just perform all the necessary operation which is required for the data flow. Okay, so other ways, okay, so you can just right click and click on edit. Okay, so there are three different ways. One is you can just directly get into the data flow and select which data flow task. Okay, and second is you can just double click. Okay, it will be entered into this particular interface, or else right click and edit. Okay, so these are the three different ways how you can just enter it. Okay, so if you want to delete it, okay, just delete. Okay, so I've just added here data flow. Okay, so you can just resize, you can just drag, and here you can see one arrow, right? So basically it's indicating like if I'm adding some other component. Okay, so how it's basically gonna connect here. Okay, so this is all about the data flow. So here, so when we talk about the control flow, so here you have the data flow task. If you want to execute some SQL task, okay, so these are some of these common components like FTP task. Okay, so Hadoop, Hive task, big task, script task. Okay, so if you want to execute package task, data profiling task, then bulk insert task. So all this operation can be performed under the control flow. Okay, as soon as I click on to this data flow, okay, so here you can just see, so we have aggregation operation, we can do a conditional split, data conversion, then loop, merge join. We can have the source and the destination connections, we can just set up. Okay, so other, you can see all the other sources. Okay, so you can see like we have so many components which present under the data flow. So this is how we basically work with. Okay, so this is all about the data flow task. Okay, so this is very much important, and like if you want to add the connection, you can just drag some of the component, try to connect it. Okay, so this is all about the data flow and the control flow. Okay, so you should not get confused. Okay, so when we're talking about the data flow and the control flow, okay, so under the data flow we can have the, so for example, if you're working, if you're not able to find certain, then you maybe get confused between, will be under the control flow or in the data flow. Okay, so just be careful. Okay, so while working with this. Okay, so in this video, let's explore about the connection managers. Okay, so here you can see, so we have a connection manager, and here we can see right click here to add a new connection manager to SSIS package. So when I just right click, okay, so we have a different options available here. So new OLDP connections, okay, flat file connections. If you want to perform .NET connections or analysis service connections or new file connections. Okay, so from here you can just do it, or else here if I just get into this data flow, here also we have a destination assistant, source assistance. From here we can just directly select this connection managers. Okay, first let's go here, and if I want to add the new connection, just right click. Okay, so here I'll be using OLEDB connection. Okay, so I'll just click on to this. So to create a connection manager based on the previous defined connection information, select a data connection and then click on OK. Okay, so you can see yeah, so here no, okay, so here, so yeah, I have worked with the previous project, so directly I'm just getting this desktop OG6v1fb dot SSIS. Okay, I'll just show you. Okay, so if you want to create it new, okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go to new. Okay, so first I need to enter here the server name. Okay, so the server name I'll be getting, so whenever you're logging, or else whenever you're logging, you'll get a server name, right? So or else you can just see this what the server name is. Okay, under the properties, this is what the server name is, right? So FB. Okay, so same thing you can see here. If I just try to cancel, FB. Okay, so this is already have just created, for that reason it's able showing here, but I'll just show you how to create it new. Okay, if you just try to right click and open the OLEDB connection, just click on new. If you click on new, here you need to enter the server name. Okay, so after entering the server name, here you need to choose the authentication, if you're doing a Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Okay, so if you're doing a SQL Server authentication, of course there'll be a server, okay, which is running in a cloud. Okay, if you want to enter the SQL Server, then you need to enter the password and the username. So Joe, so if you are installed with the Windows authentication, okay, select that, and here you need to select the database name. Okay, and for example, I'll just go with the I'll add the new connection itself. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go copy this. Okay, and I'll choose the Windows authentication and just select the database. So you can see I have this SSIS database, right? So if you're following along, I have created this SSIS database in the Management Studio. And okay, so once you have done, just click on test connection. You can see we got the test connection succeeded. I'll click OK and I'll click OK. Okay, so okay, so you can see, so we got this desktop q gv1 v1fb. Okay, so you can just double click and rename this also. Okay, so uh, rename this particular file. So I'll just rename as SSIS SQL Server Management Studio MS. Okay, so this is what my connection string is. Okay, so you can see all the details. Okay, where I've just selected the database and the server name. Okay, so this is how we basically add the new connections in the integration service. In the previous video, we have added the connection manager, right? So here let's deal with the source and the destination, that how to add the OLEDB source, okay, and even the destination in the next video. So in this video, we'll talk about the source. Okay, so right now I'm in the control flow, right? So if I go to the, okay, for example, in the control flow, even I have a path, right? So in the data flow, okay, so right now we don't have any component. So here we have two major components like source assistant and destination assistant. If I just try to double click onto this, okay, so you can see like I can add a source assistant, that is I can add the SQL Server, I can add the Excel flat file, okay, so or Oracle. Okay, so this is how basically we can add the source assistant inside it. Okay, so let's try to add the source. Okay, so for the adding the source, if you just try to scroll down here, we have something called OLEDB source. I'll just drag this particular component. Okay, so whatever you see in the control flow, it's basically a task, right? So this is one task which you're performing, there is the data flow. So inside the data flow, we have different components, right? So so this is what the data OLEDB source. So it's here same here also, we can just rename this, right? So if I just double click, okay, so I on the name I can just rename this particular source. Okay, so so right now we have just one connection manager which I've added in the previous video. So if I just double click onto this, okay, so it will be open in the new tab. Okay, so where kind of pop up. Okay, here you can see, so we have a connection manager. So specify OLADB connection manager, a data source or a data source view, and select the data access mode. Okay, so if the SQL command access mode, specify the SQL command either by typing or query. Okay, so you can see like we have to add the connection manager. So if you want to create a new, so it will redirect to the new connection manager where you can just try to create the new connection managers over here, right? So already have just started. You can see this is my SSIS SQL Server Management Studio connection. Okay, so I've just selected that. So here I need to select. Okay, so for example, if I try to click OK, so after this you can see like even though we have here cross mark, right? So to remove this, okay, so first we need to select the table. Okay, so for which table I'm just going to refer. So even in the columns, you can see right now we don't have any columns. Okay, so even we don't have any error output because we have not connected to the any table here. So I'll just go here, so I'll just add table or view. So if I just drag this, see the drag drop down, okay, you can see like we can access all the tables. Okay, whatever we have the tables in the inside the SQL Server Management Studio, right? So address, customer, and all those things. Okay, so right now here we'll try to add the customers. Okay, so if I just go here and okay, so let's try to add the customer. Okay, so if I try to add the customer, I can just preview the data. So this is what the data is. Okay, so we have the title, first name, middle name. Okay, so all the details here. Okay, so even if you want to add the address, okay, so this is what the address is. Okay, so let's try to add customer. Okay, so and click on OK. So as soon as I click on OK, you can see it has been removed, right? So the cross mark is not there. So next here you can see like we have connections, right? So I can create a connections over here. Okay, so this is how we basically add the source. Okay, so now in the next video, let's see like how we can just add the so apart from this, okay, so if I just try to double click, if I click onto this columns, you can see all the columns over here. So this is the external column. Okay, and this is the output column. Okay, so there'll be a situation if you want to change the output column, or if you want to uncheck some of the columns, you can just do it here. And this is the error outputs. Okay, so if you any error outputs, you can just set this. Okay, so this is how we see the set the source inside the SSIS. So in the next video, let's see like how we can add the OLDB destination. In the previous video, we have added the source, right? So let's try to add the destination here. So if I try to show you, so whatever the tables we have created. So here I have created the three tables I have told, right? So we have added the address, customer, and the customer address. Okay. So here we have something called output 001. So if I just try to scroll down, okay, so if I just try to preview this data, okay, so select top rows of this. So here right now you can see like we have the column which is ready, that is customer ID, name, style, okay, title, first name, last name, company name, salesperson, email address, and phone, but we don't have any data inside it. Okay, so we'll load the data from integration service, and we'll get the data and we store it inside this output 001. Okay, so let's go here. So let's try to add the destination. So in the other destinations, if you scroll down, we have this OLADB destination. I'll just drag this particular component here. And before getting started, so what I'll do first, let's try to have the connection string here. So we need to connect this way. Okay. Okay, so I'll just double click. Okay, so same settings. Okay, first I'll go with my OLDB connection manager. I have just this what the selection. I need to select the table or view. So if I just, so here I have this output 01. I'll just try to select that. Okay, and even you can do the mappings. You can see like whatever the data I have just given. Okay, we have the customer ID has been mapped, name, style, title, okay, first name. Okay, so it all the columns has been mapped. If you, for example, if you made some changes, you can just do automatically mapping here. Okay, um this is how it's basically done, and you can see like we have even removed some of the columns like suffix and all those things. Fine. So you can just set the error output, but let's keep it simple and click on OK. So as soon as click on OK, so you can see, so the error has been so we don't have any errors here, right? So everything is set. So to execute it, okay, so we have something called click on start. Okay, so in the previous video, okay, so I have just um shown you about how to add the source and destination, right? So before that, what I'll do is I'll just show you how to add, how to run this. Okay, for example, I've just added the source here. Okay, so same settings. Okay, so I've just added customer and data. I click on start. If I click on start over here, okay, so you can see it will redirect me to the other page. Okay, so this is in the debugging mode. Okay, so you can see all the details here. Okay, so breakpoints, any set exception settings if you want to make, or command window. Okay, so output. Okay, all the output you can see here. Okay, so any debugging if you want to do, you can just perform here. Okay, so once you're done with the debugging, okay, you can just click here stop debugging, or else you can just click here get back to the stop debugging mode and get back to the design mode. Okay, so right now I'm in the design mode. Fine, so let's add the destination now. So it's the same settings, so double click. Okay, so first I need to attach it, that's what it's saying. So let's add it, double click. I need to select the table, and the table name I'll give as output 00, output 01. I'll click OK. Okay, so even you can see the mappings, right? So mapping is done. Okay, so this is that. So now let's try to run. So I'll click on to the start. Okay, so you can see we got this board components got a green color tick, right? So it means it got executed. So if I just get back to my management studio and try to run this query once again, you can see like we got the data inside this output 01, right? So this is how we got the data from source to destination. Right now we have just learned how to extract it, right? And how to uh, uh, we have not discovered transformation, right? We'll discuss all transformation, but we have just seen how to, because in the extract transform and load, we have seen the extract, and we have seen the load. Okay, how to load the data, and not only management studio. Okay, so as I told you, so we have a different options over here. Okay, so this is how we run it, and you can just check all the outputs here. Okay, I'll just go to the design mode. Okay, so here under the source destination, okay, so you can see So we have source can be of SQL Server or Excel or flat file or even the Oracle. Okay, so even the destination assistant also from here also you can just try to connect it. You can see even in the destination we can have the SQL Server, Excel or Oracle. Okay, so this is how basically we add it. Okay, so I hope you understood how to extract and how to load. Okay, so we'll discuss all the transformations in upcoming videos. Okay, so now let's consider a scenario. Okay, so let's say like we are developing a package and it extracts some records from the source, okay, and implement some business logic by using a different transformation and finally load into the destination table. Okay, so when we look at the destination records, it's incorrect, but we're not sure what happens to the source record. So we want to see the change in the records after each of the transformation to find out which logic is not actually working. Okay, so to help with this, okay, so in SSIS we have something called data viewer. Okay, so data viewer can be used between the true transformations to see what actually data is doing. Okay, so when we execute our package, data viewer will pop up a window showing that all the output. Okay, so which will be changed from, which will be moved from input to output. Okay, so let's see here. So when we are designing, okay, so we want to enable the data viewer. Okay, so here if you just right click onto this connections and I'm in design mode, right? Okay, so I'll just yeah, so right click and here, so it has to be selected. So once you can see we have something called enable data viewer. If I click on the enable data viewer, okay, so you can see that this has been enabled, and inside the enabled, okay, so data viewer, you can see like we have a different options here. We have a general, okay, where you can see the common properties, okay, and that is ID, descriptions, and all the basic details. Even you can see the metadata, okay, of this source and destinations, okay, and its data types, which is very important, right? The data types also plays a very important matter. Sorry, when we're doing some transformations, and this is all the data viewer. So whenever you're viewing the data, okay, so if you want to avoid some of the columns, you can just send this. Okay, if I want to remove the email address, I can just send it over here. Okay, so if it is if you want to if you want to if you don't want to view under the data viewer, okay, so whenever the data is moving from source to destination after the transformation, if you're moving, if you want to avoid certain rows, you can just do it here. Okay, so now let's try to run with the data viewer. If I just try to click on to the start, we can see as soon as I click on to the start, it will go to the debug mode. But if you observe here, so one is ticked and one you can see it's kind of still running, right? So and you will see a one pop-up. Okay, so this is data viewer, and here you can see like we have 847 rows. So it means 847 rows has been moving from source to destination. So this is what the data is, and here you can just copy the data. Okay, so even you can just copy and paste it. Okay, if you want to paste it in the Excel, you can just do the pasting. Okay, so all these things you can just do it. Okay, and so here we have a two main buttons. Like when we have detached, as soon as I click on the detach, you can see it got executed, right? So now the data has been moved, and this is what. So if you just try to check once again, so you can see like right now in the previous we have 847, because again we have added 847. So you can see like right now I have got 1000 rows, right? So this is you can see it got executed, right? So if I just try to run once again, so I'll just close this. Okay, attach, it doesn't matter because it's already got executed, right? So if I just go to my design mode, design mode, and try to explore, click onto the start here once again, and you can see, so even this start button also plays the same role. Okay, so its data in the next buffer is displayed. This is what it means. Okay, if I just click it, okay, it will move it, and you can see to check whether it's executed or not. Here again, so you can see last time we had 1000 rows, right? So you can see so yeah, so you can see it got executed, and so this is how basically we add the data viewer. So data viewer plays a very important role when you're doing some transformation and pursuing. Okay, if you want certain output, but if you're not able to view that, okay, so this is how data viewer comes into picture. Okay, so I hope you understood. So let's continue our discussion in the next video. Okay, fine. So in the previous video, we have seen about the extract and the load, right? So we'll start with some of the examples of transformations. Okay. So we'll start with implicit conversion. So what is implicit conversion? So implicit conversion is done like when SQL Server must automatically convert a data type from one type into another when comparing the values or moving data or combining the values with the other values. So when these values are converted during the query process, okay, so it adds additional overhead and impacts the performance. But we'll see how to perform this implicit conversion. I just wanted to show you. So in the source, we have the column, okay, so customer ID. So we have of integer data type, okay. So if we want to store that customer into the string, we can just do it. This is what the implicit conversion is, simple, okay. So here you can see, so if I just go to my create table, so in the create table can see, so whenever I store the result inside the output 01, right? So output 01, you can see, so the customer ID which I've already run in the previous video, it was in small int, okay. So now I'm going to store in the customer output 02. So you can see the customer ID has been changed to the character, okay. So this char 5, okay. So let's go and do it, okay. So even while defining the table called customers, so even though we have set the customer ID to small int, in the destination we have set the customer ID to small int, this is what the output one, but now we are doing that is customer ID we have set to character 5, okay. So even if you want to see the output, okay, right now it's empty. So if I just try to select the top views, okay, can see right now it's empty, okay. So now if I just go here, okay, so I just double click on the destination. So instead of going to the output 1, so now I want to go to the output 2, okay. So here you can just see the mapping will remain the same, okay. I'll click OK. Okay, so once I just run this, okay, so if I just run this, you can see this is what the preview, this is what the data, right, which is being copied, okay. So we have first name, middle name, last name and everything. So I'll click on to the run, okay. So you can see it got executed. But how to check, okay, so whether the data has been moved, okay. So and whatever the data we have stored inside destination is character, so is in character, okay. But even you all check the output. Now if you check the output here, okay, so you can see like we have 847 rows and this is what the data we have got executed, okay. So if I just get back here, okay, so I'll just go to the design mode. So let's verify this. If I just right click, okay, so here we have something called show advanced editor. I'll just click on show advanced editor. So this is what the editor, okay. So here we have connection managers, then we have a component properties, then we have a column mappings, and we have input output properties, okay. So once you open to the advanced editor, there are different options is available. So one is you can just verify the connection managers over here, okay. So then this is component properties, what are the different components, okay, the custom properties, okay. So all the details you can just see here. Next is column mapping, so okay, can just verify it's been mapped correctly or not. But in the input output parameters, so here we have a source output, okay. In the source output, okay, so you can see the external columns output and the output columns output. If I just try to view both things, okay, so you can see in the external ID, so we have a 2-byte integer. Even in the customer ID we have a 2-byte integer, okay. So this is all about the source, okay. So if it similarly in the destination, if I try to open and show the advanced editor, okay, if I just directly get into the input output parameters, okay, so in the destination output, okay, if you check the input columns, okay, here the input columns you can see whatever we are getting, okay. So you can see we are getting as a string, okay. So this is the customer ID we're getting a string, okay. So here you can just verify the data which we sent was integer, and when we got into the destination, got the customer ID got changed into string, okay. So here you can just change the length and you can just perform all these things, okay. This is called implicit conversion in SQL Server. Okay, fine. So in this video, let's see about the data conversion, okay. So what I'll do, I'll just select this, okay. So here under the data flow, we have something called data conversion, okay. So I'll just drag here. So first, so in the previous video we have seen the implicit, right? So here we'll see how how it automatically is done, okay. So if we want to transfer some of the data, okay. So this is what the data conversion. So first I'll select this and select here, okay. So here you can just add the data viewer, okay, if it is required, but in this video I think it's not required, okay. So let's click on the data conversion, okay. So here so you can see configure the properties used to convert the data type of input column to the different data type, okay, depending on the data type to which the column is converted. Set the length, precision, scale, and the code page of the column. So for example, here the available input columns, this is what the available input columns have. I'll select the customer ID. Okay, so I'll just resize. Okay, so once I select the customer ID, you can see like I got the input column as customer ID. I can give the output alias, right? Copy of customer ID, I'll keep it same. Okay, so here you can see, so we have a data type as 2 byte signed integer, because this is the default one. Whenever we have created the table, this is what the data we have set for this particular column, right? So in the destination, if you want to change it, okay, so you can see like we have a different options here. Okay, so if I just try to expand this, okay, so here you can see like we have a single byte unsigned integer. You can even see the codes here. Okay, dt underscore UI. Okay, u1, we have a string that is dtstr. We have a text string, okay, 2 byte signed integer, 2 byte unsigned integer, okay, unicode string. Okay, you can see like we have different options. Okay, even you can convert to boolean. Okay, but in this case not. But yeah, so I just want to show you the what are different data type you have. Okay, you have a currency, okay, database date, okay, time, then database time with the precision, and you can see all the codes here. Okay, and this is the date, decimal, okay, decimal precision. But in this, so I just, if I want to convert to the string, I can just give the string, and the length I can just set. Okay, if I just set 5. Okay, so here I need to click onto this. Okay, okay, as soon as I click on this, okay, so in the destination, so I'll just select the same table. Okay, before that, let's go and truncate this. I have it done. You can see truncate table. So if I just truncate this, okay, so if I just check if we have any data, so right now we don't have any data inside this. So inside the mapping, okay, so while selecting the customer ID, you can see the old customer ID. So if I click onto this, I have an option called copy of customer ID. So right now I have just uh, passed the copy of customer ID to the customer ID. Okay, so I'll just click on to this. Okay, okay, so now let's try to run this. Okay, so if I just try to run, okay, so you can't see everything got executed. Okay, so if I just go here and see if we have the data, you can see like we have the data. And to check, so if I just go to back to the my design mode, and in the destination, show the advanced editor, so input output properties. So if we try to expand the customer ID, okay, you can see it has been converted to the string DTR. Okay, so this is how you can just perform the data conversion. Okay, so in this video, let's discuss about the derived column task. Okay, so let's try to delete this. Okay, and here we have something called derived column. Okay, so if I just click on the derive, okay, you can see create a new column values by applying expressions to the transformations input columns. And so this is also, for example, if you're doing some transformation and if you want to created a new column. Okay, you want to add the new column inside the data. Okay, so you can just do it. Okay, so this is how it's done with the help of a derived column. Okay, so if I just try to see the properties. Okay, so before this we need to connect it, so let's try to connect. Okay, so here you can see, so specify the expression used to create a new column values and indicate whether the value update existing columns or populate new columns. So so here we have a variables and parameters. Okay, under that we have a system variables. You can see all these are system variables, we can make use of that. And we have a columns. You can see like we have a customer ID, name, title, first name, middle name. Okay, these are our input columns, right? Here, so for example, and apart from this, okay, here we have the different section, okay, where we have all the functions starting from mathematical functions. Okay, if you want to, in the derived column, if you want to do a square, square root, or change a log, okay, these are the different mathematical operations. These are the string operations. Okay, replace, reverse, write, token. Okay, if you want to trim these certain expressions. Okay, so if you want to change the uppercase or lowercase, all string functions. We have a date time functions. We have null functions. Okay, so all null functions, how to handle the null. We have a typecast. Okay, and we have a operators. Okay, so we have addition, subtractions, and all those things. Okay, so this is how it basically done. Okay. So now if I want to add a new derived column, I'll just drag this. Okay. So you can see I just drag this customer ID. So here I got derived column name is derived column name one. And here I can just replace the existing customer ID by giving certain expression. I can replace the, I mean like different columns like name, style, title, first name, middle name, last name or any of it. But let's add a new column here. And here I'll just keep it as customer ID new column. Customer ID new. Okay. And here the expressions. Okay, so you can just try to add the expressions. Okay, so for example, if I want to change the typecast, so if I want to make it string. Okay, so this is what the description. So so we have to pass the string length and the code page. Okay, so I'll just show you where you can just find this code page. Okay, so just remember here we are passing the code page. Okay, so here I'll just open this. So first dt string I want to convert into string. So then I need to pass length and code page. Okay, so this is what we have changed. You can see it automatically got changed data type to this, and length is this, and this is a code page. Okay, just remember, so we need to enter a code page. I'll show you way to enter this. Okay, so we have added the derived column. Okay, so add a new column. Okay, so everything is set. So if you want to, that's what I just want to show you like the different all the transformations, and in your project or whatever the requirements you need, you can just perform all those things. But this is the this remain the same. Okay, I'm showing for the one column. Okay, so that you can just perform all the transformations. Okay, so what are the transformation with respect to string, typecast, you can just make use of it. Okay, and do a lot of hands-on. I'll click on to this. Okay, okay. So here if I just click on destination, okay, so under the mappings, okay, so you can see, so if I just scroll down, I have a copy, I have a customer ID, uh, I have a customer ID new. Okay, so if I just type, you can see the copy of customer ID which I used in previous videos. I'll just use the new customer ID and map to the customer ID. That's what I've done. So map the customer ID new to the customer ID. Okay, so and I'll just set in the output to itself. Before that, I'll just truncate it. Okay, yeah, so I have set the destination. This is the mappings where I've set the new customer ID to this. Fine. So so where I can just find the code mapping, if I just right click and show the advanced editor in the input output properties. So so you can see here we have a code page, right? I will enter the same code page here like 1252. So you have a code page for all, you can see for the title, these are the code page which from where you need to enter it. Okay, so let's try to run this. So start, so it got executed. I'll just get back and check whether we have received the data or not in the output 02. Okay, we got the data. To verify, if I just right click and show advanced editor and go to the input output parameters and check the for the customer ID. Okay, so what the customer ID, you can see it has been changed to string. Okay, so this is how basically we make use of this derived columns. So I hope you understood. So you can just perform, have a hands-on with the different data sets, and this is how we make use of derived column. Okay, fine. So in this video, let's perform some of the transformation. Like for example, if I want to select the salesperson, okay, so where I'm just doing the count of all the salespersons, okay, so I'm grouping from the customer table, and I'm just grouping by the salesperson. You can see like we have this 9 columns here, right? So let's try to do this transformation with help of the SSIS, okay. So and we'll store it the output in the output 3. Okay, if I just try to open this, select top rows. Okay, so if I just select, see the output 3, you can see like it's empty. Okay, so now if I just go here, okay, so let's try to remove this. So to perform aggregation, we have, you can see like we have this aggregation. Okay, So inside the aggregation, okay, so we'll add the so I'll just drag this. So if I just double click, okay, so first I need to connect it. Okay, so you can see, so configure the properties used to perform group by operations and to calculate the aggregate values. Okay, so if I want to select, so let's select the salesperson. So here I'll do the group by operation. Okay, and next is I'll select everything and here count all. Okay, so this is what, just whatever the query I've written, the same way I've just performing all this aggregate transformation with help of this SSIS. Okay, so I'll just click OK. So now let's add the destination. So I'll just add the destination. So first let's connect. So double click. So I'll just use the table, and the table I'll use the output 03, and this is the mappings. Okay, so here you can see one is missing, so I can just do the mapping here, that is count all to this. I'll click OK. Okay, so everything is set. So now let's go and click on start. So everything got executed, right? So if I just go to my output, this is my table 03, right? So if I write execute, you can see this, I'm able to perform. Okay, so this is what the simple aggregation you can do with help of SSIS. Hello everyone, so welcome back. In the previous video we have seen the aggregation, right? So where it aggregates the data with functions like average, sum, count, max, min, right? So in this video let's see about the multicast. Okay, if I just see here, we have something called multicast. So here in the multicast, it basically distributes the every input row to the every row in one or more outputs. For example, the branch your data flow to make a copy of data so that some values can be masked before sharing with the external. So assume like your if you want to send the data into the two different destinations, okay, you can just do it. Okay, so I'll just show you how to do that multicast. Okay, so assume like I'll just delete this. So we have something called multicast over here. So I'll just drag and drop here. So this is what the multicast. So first let's connect this. So you can see, so in the multicast, okay, so if I just try to double click, okay, so you can see this is the properties we have. So configure the properties used to create the logical copies of input data set. Okay, so for example, if I add the two destinations, okay, so for example, I'll add the one destination and another destination. So I can attach one here. Okay, so whatever the data we have, we can just send into both this. Okay, so if I first, let's go and truncate it. So what I'll do, uh, so let's truncate table 1 and 2. So first let's truncate this table 2, okay, and the table 1. So in the destination, so I'll just choose this. So let's select the table. So here are the table 1, output 01. So this is what the mappings, everything is set. Okay, so similarly destination 2, I'll give table here output 02. So this is what the mapping is. I'll click OK. So you can see, so I'm basically distributing the data. Okay, so whatever the in the source we have, I'm just distributing into two destinations. Okay, so here if I just try to start run, okay, got everything got executed. So if I just go and check the output 01, you can see like we have 847, and output 02, we have 847. Output 02, edit, sorry, yeah, 847, right? So here also you can just see, so we have 847 rows which has been sent to two destination, right? So 847, to this destination and 847 to this destination. Okay, so this is helps in like whenever you are doing some analysis. Okay, if you have just transformed some of the columns, and if you want to send some of the data to this destination, if you from this destination you can just do some other transformation. If you want to compare it, okay, you can just do all these things. This is what the use case of multicast. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's see about the conditional split. Okay, so if you just scroll down here, so we have something called conditional split. Okay, so you can see, so basically conditional split routes the data rows to different outputs depending on the content of the data, and use the conditions to specify which rows are routed. Okay, so if you want to split the rows based on certain condition, you can just do it. Okay, this is how we use the conditional split. Let's try to use this. So what I'll do first, I'll just try to remove this multicast. Okay, inside, so first I'll just drag this conditional split. Okay, so let's try to connect it. Okay, so if I just double click the conditional split, so here I can just pass the conditions. So here specify the condition used to direct input rows to specific output rows. If the input row matches to no condition, the row is directed to the default output. Okay, so now if I expand the columns, so here what I'm going to do is, okay, so before getting into this, I'll just wanted to show you the output, what we're actually doing. So if you just see the output here, we have a misters, we have we have null, we have ms, right? So Mr. Mr, right? So these are the different titles we have. So let's try to split the Mr. and all the other into the different columns. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So here I'm just selecting the title. Okay, so in the title, so I'll just give title is Mr. Title is Mr. Okay, so and the condition is title equal to Mr. So I'll just check how it's looking. So it's M. Okay, so Mr. and default. Okay, the other you can see like we have a default output name. So default output name is, I'll give title is not Mr. Okay, so very simple. So I've just given the conditional split. I'm just selecting the title column. So where I've just given the condition, select those rows, okay, which has the title equal to Mr. And by default, send the other rows. Okay, so other data to the title is not Mr. Okay, so I'll just click OK. Um, I'll click OK. So, so here I just forgot to add the double quotes. Okay, so click OK. So here you can see. So once I've just configured, so here I'm just storing one in one destination. Okay, so here as soon as I click on destination, so I may pop there is one pop-up which is telling, okay, select which output. The source or destination component contain the multiple inputs or outputs. Select an input and output to connect to the component. So here I'm just selecting. So if I want to select, this is, I want to store in this destination as the title, or it's not title, so I'll just select this is Mr. Title. Okay, so title is Mr. I want to store it in this destination. And if I just have one more, okay, so here title is not Mr. Okay, so this is how it's basically done. So destination, I'll just keep it same thing. Okay, so I'll just go and first truncate those things. So truncate 01 as well as the 02. Okay, so it got truncated. So if I just try to run this now, you can see we are getting some error, right? So if you are getting some errors, okay, so unless so if I just go to the debug mode, okay, so here we have something called error component. Okay, so we can just make use of this error component and save this. Okay, so and view the what are the errors. Okay, so we'll see how we can just handle the errors in next video. So in our previous video, we have just tried to run and we're getting error, right? So let's try to handle how we can just handle this error. If I just double click, so here we have something called configure the error output. Okay, if I just try to open this, so see here, so specify how row level errors are handled by this component. You can handle errors in a row or truncation errors in a column. So errors can fail the component or they can be ignored and they can be redirected. So here, so depending upon what are the input output we have selected or the input, the title is Mr. And you can see like we have two types of errors, like we have error and we have a truncation error. Like for example, if you have a long name, if you have just given a varchar of 5 or 10, you can give a truncation errors, right? So I can just handle this. So I can just handle by three ways. When I can just ignore the failure. Okay, so I can just redirect whatever the error is to some other destination or through some derived column, or else I can just set some fail component. Okay, so where I can just perform some of the analysis or some of the transformations in the other places, right? So if I assume like first I'll just go with ignore failure. Okay, assume like I'll just go and ignore the failure. Okay, so I'll just click um ignore failure, apply. Okay, click OK. I click OK. So you can see right now we have just set to ignore failure. Okay, if I just try to run this, let's apply the data viewer here also. Enable data viewer. Enable data viewer. Okay, so now let's try to run this. You can see it got executed. Okay, so we have you can see we got a table. So one table is uh, so we can see, so here we have a table which is not a, you can see this is not a Mr. table column. Okay, so here and here we have one more table. Okay, so where it is all the Misters, you can just check here. Okay, so you can see it's all the Misters. Okay, and here we have Misters as well as the null. Okay, so if I just get the detach mode, okay, I'll just close this. Okay, so you can see, so if we have 847 rows, so in the title, in this destination we got 490 and here we have 357. Okay, you can just verify that here also. If I in the output 01, okay, so you can see like we have 490, so it's all Misters, so 490, and in output 02, so we have 357, so which has null as well as Misters. Okay, so this is what the data we have. Okay, fine. So this is how it's done. Okay, so now let's I just go to the design mode. Okay, so if I just go to the conditional split, okay, configure error output. So here we have set to ignore failure. Okay, so now if I, for example, redirect. Okay, so if I just click on redirect and click on apply and OK, so I'll click OK here. So you can see like we are getting some error. So row sent to, for example, if I'm not storing that error, okay, so it will be ignored. That's what it's saying. Okay, you can see, so row sent to the error output will be lost and new data flow transformations to the destinations. Okay, so this is all done. So if I just try to run, so I'll not get any error, but you can see the data is missing now. Okay, so here we have 490, but we have 350 here where the 7 rows are missing, and the missed rows you can just guess it, it's all null. Okay, so this is how it's done. So if I want to handle that, so I just go back here. Okay, so what I'll do, so inside for this I'll just get it in the derived column. So if I just search here, we have a derived column. So basically I'll just attach it. Okay, so if I just try to run it, okay, so I got the data, and here you can see uh, we have here 7 rows, right? So just detach. So even let's add the data viewer here also to view the data. enable data viewer and try to run once again. And here, so this is not Mr. and this is the you can see these are the error outputs you're getting where everything is null. Okay, so this is how it's basically done. Okay, so let's detach and close and get back to design mode. And other ways, here you can just give the condition split. Okay, so like so here if I in the handling the null functions, here you can just use it like null. I want to replace it. Okay, so this is what the expression, so expression one and expression. So here I can just use replace null, replace null, and I have to give the title. Okay, and I'll just give not Mr. Replace as a not Mr. Where I'm just replacing all this null value with a not Mr. Okay, mr. Okay, equal to Mr. So here we're checking the both the condition. Okay, if it is not null, okay, so it will check whether it's a Mr. It will keep it as a Mr. If it is a null, okay, so then it will replace with the not Mr. in place of null. Okay, so let's click OK. Okay, so now if I just try to run once again, okay, we got the output. Okay, so here exactly we got all the output, but you can see in the conditional split we have a zero output. Okay, so if I just get into this, you can see we have 490 and here we have a 490, but in the conditional split we have a zero data. Okay, so this is how you can just try to handle the handle it. Okay, so this is, I hope you understood how to handle the errors. Hello everyone, so in this video let's see about the row sampling and the percentage sampling. Okay, so before this I'll just remove this. Okay, so let's see in the other transforms. So here we have something called row trans, yeah, in the not in other destinations. Yeah, so here we have a row sampling. Okay, so and the percentage sampling. Okay, if I click on row sampling, so this is basically getting the sample data. So row randomly samples a specific number of rows from the input data flow. For example, use it randomly select products to feature on your website is what the random row sampling is. I'll just try to get this row sampling and let's first attach it. Okay, so double click. Okay, so here I can just give the number of rows I want to sample. If I want to sample 25, and here we have a two output. One is sampling selected output and the remaining rows, right? So sampling unselected outputs. So this is what the columns you can see. So if you want to remove some of the columns, you can just do it. So let's add the derived columns. So if I just go here, one derived column and one more derived column, where in the one derived column I'll just add the selected output. Okay, and in the second I'll just add the unselected. Okay, so here you can just rename as selected and this is unselected. Okay, so here let's add the data viewer before running. So let's run now. So it got executed. So here you can see the output. So this is the output, right? So we got all this it's selected. Okay, so for example, if I just try to get back to the design mode. Okay, I'll just try and once again, sorry, I forgot to show you. So if I just try to run it, you can see like we have a 41. Okay, if I see the some of the customer ID, we have 41 to 44, right? This is what the data we have. So if I just try to stop it, and try to run it once again. So initially we had a 41. So if I just try to run once again, so you can see it's selecting randomly. You can see right now we don't have 41, so we have some other customer IDs. Okay, to have the same data every time. Okay, so what we can do is we can just select the random seed. Okay, so here if I just select the use the random seed as 1. Okay, so I'll just click OK. So now if I just try to run, okay, so you can see we had the customer ID as 40, right? So if I'll just stop once again and rerun once again, so even also right now we have customer as 40. Okay, so this is how we with help of random seed we can generate the same data. So same we can just perform for the percentage sampling. So there we need to give the percentage. Hello everyone, so welcome back. In this video let's see about the sorting. Okay, how we can just sort it. Okay, so for that let's try to remove all these things. Okay, so what I'll do is so before sorting I'll just use the aggregate. Okay, so for the source this time I'll just edit this. So instead of selecting the customer, I'll use the customer address. Okay, and click OK. And here you can just preview the data. Okay, so if I just preview the data, this is what the customer address we have. Okay, so I'll click OK. So select this. So in the aggregate, okay, so let's aggregate not customer once again. We have custom. Okay, just address data. Okay, so let's preview. Yeah, this is dot data I'm just looking. Okay, address. Okay, so I just selected. So if I just see in the aggregate, so let's aggregate by state and the column. Okay, and count by all. I'll click OK, and this I can just store it in the derived column and enable the data viewer. So let's try to run if you're getting any errors. Okay, you can see like we're getting the data, okay, which is sorted by the state, province and the country region. Okay, so well and good, correct. Okay, so now let's go to the debugging mode, sorry, in the design mode. So now instead of directly getting to the derived column, so what I'll do, so I'll just sort it. So to sort we have here something called sort. So here see, so sort inputs data in ascending or descending order when it cannot be sorted as its source. For example, sort sales, okay, these are some of the, okay, I can just sort it. Okay, so be it ascending or descending. So I'll just drag this sort. Okay, so let's try to connect from the aggregate function. So here, so on what basis I need to sort? Okay, I'll just select the country provision and this. Okay, I'll click. Okay, pass through. So I'll just select this too, and here I need to sort by ascending or descending. I'll just select ascending. Here also ascending. Sort order 1 and 2. So here you can just compare the flags also, like ignore the case or ignore symbols. I'll just give the ignore case for state provision. I'll click OK. Okay, so I've just sorted. So I'll just keep this in the derived column and connect it and enable the data viewer. Okay, so let's run it. You can see, so we are just counting by all, and even it has been sorted, okay, from ascending to descending. Okay, so ascending. Okay, so this is how it's being done. Fine, so this is how we use the sorting. Okay, so if you are finding any difficulty, just let me know in the discussion forum. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video let's see how we can add Excel file as a source. Okay, so I'll just remove this. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go to the source assistant. So in the source assistance we can just select the Excel, right? So if we want to have the new connection, I'll click on new. I'll click OK. So here I need to give the Excel path. Okay, so I'll just go in the download section. I have the file called input01. Okay, so it's 2003. For example, in your system, if you're working, of course we have a latest versions, but you can see the Excel has this only these versions like 3, 4, 5 and 97 2003. 2007, 2010, 13, and 16. We can just convert it, do save as any one of these versions. Okay, so I've just saved it as this version, and here it contains a first as a column in this input file. Okay, so I'll just click OK. Okay, so as I click OK, even though I'm just getting error here, just double click it. Okay, so now I need to save, so select the table, and which sheet, I'll just select the sheet one and just preview the data. So this is what the data I have the customer, this sample, this is a subset of the data which we are working. Okay, first name, last name, and all this, the details. I click OK to view the data. So what I'll do, I'll just use the derived column. Okay, I'll just connect with this. Okay, and let's try to run now. Okay, okay, got executed. In case, okay, if you're getting errors, okay, so first I'll just show you. Okay, I've just not enabled this. I'll just get back to the debug mode. Okay, so here, so if you're getting error, you can just get into this project section, go to the properties. Under the properties section, okay, go to the debugging, and here just set the if you are for example, if you have runtime as false, just set this to true. Okay, so runtime 64-bit, and this has to be, both has to be true. Okay, so just check that. Okay, so now let's try to enable this data viewer here and run it. This is what the data can just say, right? So it's very simple. Okay, so let's stop it, and you can see in the connections we have added the two connection. One is from the SQL Server and from the Excel connection manager. Okay, so Excel destination, I have created the Excel destination one. So table, and so let's create a new. So this is what I need to add it. Okay, this is the mapping. So once we have added this files, so if I go, I'm getting. Okay, so what I can do is, if I just go and see in the advanced section, it's Unicode text stream. Unicode text stream. Okay, so before adding this, what I can do is, so let's add the data conversion. So let's convert this to Unicode. So see here, so everything whatever we seen in the advanced sector, it was in the Unicode. Sorry, we have a Unicode string, right? So let's convert everything into Unicode string. Okay, so this is Unicode string. So instead of this, I'll just give copy of this one, copy of name style, copy of title. So copy of first name, copy of last name, Yeah, you can see we got the error. Okay, we have removed that. So you can just add the handler, enable data viewer. If I just try to run it, can see, so we're getting the data and it has been saved in the download section. Okay, so as output 01. Okay, so this is how basically we have created a flat source file, and from there we have stored into the Excel file. Okay, so if you're getting any errors, let me know, so we'll discuss in the discussion. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's see how we can just add the text file, as well as like how to store it in the destination using the Excel source. Okay, I'll just try to delete this. So in the source destination, okay, so if I just try to open, okay, we have Oracle, right? So it's same thing. Okay, if I just click to Oracle, I can just go to new connection, I can just pass on to the same values here. Okay, so but now I'll just go with the flat file. So I'll just select the new flat file, I'll click OK. This is a new connection. So this is the connection manager name, this is a flat file connection manager, and the file name I'll just save it in the SSIS input 02. Okay, and here you can just select all the properties, like you can see format is delimited, and here you can see text qualifier and whole header, and if you want to skip the rows, okay, you can just do it. In the columns you can see, so it is tab separated. Okay, so the role is tab separated. So here, so here tab separated, fine. I'll just click OK. Okay, so if I just double click, okay, so let's try to run this whether it's working. So I'll just keep it in the derived column. So where is the derived column? Now about the data viewer, and let's try to run this. You can see I'm getting the output. Okay, so you can see this is the output we are getting. Okay, so let's try to so instead of derived column, let's try to add it in the Excel. So here in the destination assistant, so I'll go with the Excel. So there we have existing connection manager, but I'll create a new. Okay, so I'll create a new Excel, new so here the file path output 01 xlx. Okay, and this is what the version. I'll click OK. So double click. Okay, first I need to connect it, sorry. Okay, so table and the Excel sheet, so let's create a new. Don't retrieve the table information for connection manager one, failed to connect. Okay, so I just click, let's delete this. So this is working fine. So in the destination, so let's create a new destination. So In this video, let's discuss about the union all. So union all basically combines the rows from multiple data flows without sorting. Okay, so here have already created flow here. Okay, so first we have a Excel source which I've already shown you, right? So I have a flat file source. In the Excel file source, okay, so I've just selected the sheet one and you can see all the columns here. Okay, so whatever I've just said. Okay, and one main thing is like all the columns. Okay, so this is how we need to set it. Okay, which I've already discussed, right? As a flat file source which I used in the previous video. Next, for this source file, I'm just converting the data conversion where I'm converting all the input files as a string. Okay, DTR. Okay, so then I'm just giving it to union, because here if you just check the properties, okay, so and the input outputs, so you can see everything is string DTR. Okay, so everything is string DTR. So both the columns should be in the same data type. For that reason, I'm just converted the Excel to a string data type, and we have a union all. Okay, so now let's try to just use this union all. So this is what I've just mapped it, where the copy of customer ID is customer ID and copy of this everything is I've just mapped it. After mapping, let's use the derived column to see the output. So and let's enable the data viewer and run it. You can see it got executed, and this is what the data we are getting. Okay, so this is how basically we use union. Okay, fine. So in this video, let's see about the merge and the sort. Okay, so if I just click on to this merge, so it combined the rows from multiple sorted data. Okay, so in the previous video we have seen about the union, all right. So but when you're dealing with the merge, we need to get the inputs from the sort. Okay, I have used the same Excel source, okay, and the flat file source, and we have same data conversion. And under the sort, okay, I'm just sorting by customer ID. Okay, and you need to uncheck all this pass throughs where I'm just using the copy of everything. Okay, so and that data has been passed to the merge. And whenever you're dealing with this, okay, so if you're getting some errors, then also you can just go to uh, f- um, resolve references and try to delete all the unmapped input columns. Okay, so it will give an it will remove the errors. Okay, so in the sort one, okay, so same thing here, we are just sorting by customer ID and everything, same thing. Okay, and if I try to merge it, okay, so merge by with this. Okay, so name, title, first name, and this thing. And if I just check in the derived column by passing the data enabler, if I just try to start, so this is what the data I am getting. Okay, so this is how you work with merge. But remember, so we have to pass the sorted data. Okay, so we have worked with different connections, right? So even you can just work with OLDB connection, which I've seen, flat file connection, .NET connection, and even you can just have the new connections itself, right? So you can see these are the 3 4 connections we have just built. Like there is SQL Server connection, Excel connection, flat file connection, and we have stored as output, right? So even from here you can just do the destination and the source assistant, from where you can just create a different destinations from here. So in the destination path, okay, so which I've already shown you, right? So we have Excel, Oracle, and SQL, and you can just we have just you can just try to do a lot of hands-on, okay, so that until you become perfect in this. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's discuss about the row count. Okay, so you can see, so it basically count the rows as they pass through a data flow. Okay, so instead of directly passing to the derived column, what I'll do, I'll just delete it. Okay, so here I'll just add the row count. Okay, so here I'll just pass it, and then I can just give to the derived column. So here you can see, like right now still we need to fix it. Okay, so you can see we have a cross mark, right? So here you can see we have something called variables. I'll go to the variables here. So here we have a different option like add variable, move variable, or delete variable. So let's add a variable. So let's make it. So I'll need to give the variable name. So I'll just give number of rows. Okay, and the int and the value can just set to -1 initially. Okay, and here you can just pass the expressions. Okay, so if you just see here, we have all the expressions like mathematical, string, date, null, type, and operators, right? So okay, so fine. So I've just created a variable number of rows. Okay, so I'll just close this. So now in the, if I just double click, okay, I need to select the variable. So I've created the user, that is number of rows. I click OK, and let's try to run now. Okay, so you can see like we had 8 rows coming from the Excel and 15 rows from flat file, and we're getting 22 rows, and this is what you are able to see, that is 22. And here, but so to make use of this, okay, so if we want to use this uh, in the output, if you want to see as output, you can just do it. Okay, if I just go to here control flow, so let's go back. So if I just go to the control flow, so here, so with help of script task, or else with the breakpoints, okay, I'll just right click this, and we have something called edit breakpoints. So we can enable the breakpoints, and here you can see, so break when the container receives the on variable change. I'll just select this, I'll click OK. So if I just try to run once again, so you can see it's in the debug mode, and here you can see it's in progress, and we have here continue. Okay, so in the name, if I just try to search, if I click on continue, okay, so here you can see, so break when, so it's moving. Okay, so if I want to see the variables, yeah, so you can see, so number of rows initially it will be -1. So if I just keep on continuing, okay, so it got updated to 23. Okay, so this is how it basically, so it got completely executed. Okay, so I'll just switch back, and this is what the 23 we got the data, right? So if I just go to the data flow, so let's edit the breakpoints. I'll just disable this. Okay, so this is what the 23 we got it, right? This is how we use it. Even with help of script we can do it. Okay, so I'll just show in the next video. Okay, so with help of script, okay, so we can go to the control flow, and here we have something called script task. Okay, so I'll just drag this, so let's connect. So double click. Okay, so here the script language would be two types. Okay, we have a C and we have basic. Okay, so I'll just use this and edit script. So here we can edit it, partial class. So I'll just type message So message box where I'll give dts dot variables and the variable names is number of rows dot value dot toString. Okay. So msgbx. Okay, so if I just try to close this, so here I'll just exit this. I'll use the basic. So here I'll just type it. Okay, so that I need message box tts dot variables, and the variables I'll pass number of rows dot value dot toString. Okay, so let's save this, and if I exit from this and click OK. Okay, so got, I just try to run it. See, has encountered project NA. You'll get an output as a box. Okay, so let's see. So I'll just copy this, exit. In the basic itself I've written, right? So exception has no target of invocation. Okay, so I'll just fix this and I'll show you the output in next video. Okay, so here I think we have made the mistake. If I do exit, okay, we have not passed the variables. What I'll do, I'll just cancel this. I'll delete this script. I'll add the new script task. I'll connect it. So here I'll use the basic first. So here I'll use the number of rows. Okay, this I forgot to add it. Okay, so this is the read only variables. I'll click on edit script. And let's try to add it. This is the same. Okay, so I'll do Control S. Let's save and exit and click OK and run it. You can see we're getting 23. Okay, so this is how with help of scripts you can view the results in the as in a variable.